They laughed when they slapped her in front of the crowd, recording every second to post online, but what they didn't know was that the girl they humiliated had been hiding a storm inside her all along. What followed wasn't revenge, it was a reckoning. Read till the last word. You won't believe who stood behind her when she rose. And if this left you breathless, make sure to hit that subscribe so you never miss a story that strikes like thunder. Asterisk, it all began on a humid Friday afternoon, kind that made even the clouds lazy and the schoolyard chatter heavier with tension. But no one could have predicted how quickly that ordinary day would erupt into a spectacle that would leave a permanent scar on everyone who witnessed it, especially the ones who thought they were untouchable. Her name was Zara, a quiet girl with ink-stained fingertips and eyes that always seemed to be searching for stars, even when the sky was blue. She wasn't invisible, not really, but she was the kind of presence people often mistook for a shadow, and that mistake would cost them more than they could afford. For years, Zara kept her head down, choosing the library over lunch halls, sketchbooks over gossip, headphones over confrontation, until the day those who delighted in cruelty decided that her silence was weakness and her solitude an invitation. The ringleader was Maya, a girl with a venomous smile and a following that mirrored her malice. Backed by two sidekicks, Jody and Braylich, more desperate to impress than the other, and their favorite game was picking someone vulnerable to make an example out of, and this time, they had set their sights on Zara. It started with whispers behind her back, fake compliments about her clothes. Snide notes slipped into her locker, escalated to shoving her books off her desk, but when that failed to get a rise out of her, Maya decided it was time for something public, humiliating, unforgettable. The courtyard was packed that day, students clinging to the shade of trees, phones in hand, hearts eager for distraction, when Maya strode up to Zara with the swagger of someone who thought the world owed her attention. Zara had just bent to pick up a fallen pen when Maya slapped the sketchbook out of her hands, its pages flipping open to reveal intricate illustrations of warriors, wings and creatures unknown, and before Zara could even react, the first slap landed, not a playful one, but the kind that echoes and silences laughter all at once. The crowd gasped, then roared. Some cheered, others pulled out phones. And Brielle caught it all on camera while Maya smirked, relishing the attention like a drug. Zara stood still, hand to her cheek, the sting spreading not just across her face, but deep into her core, and in that moment, something broke, but not in the way Maya had intended. Because what no one knew, what Zara had never told a soul, was that she hadn't always been quiet. Another city, another life. She had been a state-level martial artist, a national chess champion, a survivor of things far darker than school, bullies, but her family had moved after a tragedy that left her choosing silence over violence, peace over power until now. Slowly, she raised her head, her eyes meeting Maya's with a calm that chilled the air around them, and instead of backing away, she took a step closer. "Are you done?" Zara asked, voice low, steady, not angry, but something far scarier controlled. Maya blinked, unsure whether to laugh or recoil, but before she could speak, Zara bent down, picked up her sketchbook, and walked away. And that should have been the end, but it wasn't. By that night, the video had gone viral, not just at school, but across the city, captioned cruelly with hashtags like #SilentLoser and #OneSlapWonder. But the internet, like fate, is unpredictable, and while some laughed, others watched more closely. In the morning, a different video surfaced. One that showed Zara training alone in a rundown dojo, her fists slicing air like blades, her footwork flawless, balance untouchable. And suddenly the comments shifted from mockery to awe. Had found her old tournament footage, news articles about her championship wins, interviews with her former coach, who described her as a ticking bomb of elegance and fury. And within 24 hours, the narrative flipped entirely. Maya, seeing her control slipping, doubled down, confronted Zara in the hallway, shoving her again, daring her to fight. But Zara didn't flinch. "You're not worth the bruises," she said, walking away, and that humiliation burned deeper than any physical blow. But what Maya didn't know was that behind the scenes, a much larger force had started moving. A local reporter reached out to Zara's parents asking for an interview. An anti-bullying nonprofit invited her to speak at a citywide youth rally. And most shockingly, a talent scout for a prestigious creative arts academy offered her a full scholarship after seeing her sketchbook, which someone anonymously shared online. It turned out Zara's art was more than fantasy. It told her story: silent battles, symbolic monsters, and the resilience of a girl who had learned to wield grace as a weapon. Meanwhile, Maya and her crew weren't just losing popularity, they were under investigation. More students came forward with stories of harassment, manipulation, and even blackmail. The school board had no choice but to suspend all three. Girls pending expulsion hearings and parents who once boasted about Maya's leadership were now silent with shame. But Zara didn't celebrate. She kept drawing, kept training, kept rising. At the rally, standing before thousands, she finally spoke. "I didn't fight back because I wanted peace more than I wanted applause. But make no mistake, I am not afraid. And I am not alone." Her voice carried not just strength, but healing. And in that crowd stood other girls like her, some bruised, some broken, all now braver. Among them was a woman who approached after the speech, revealing she was the founder of a female-led publishing house, and she wanted to turn Zara's art into a graphic novel, giving her a platform not just to speak, but to inspire globally. Within months, Zara's book Whispers of Iron hit the shelves. It's telling the fictionalized yet powerful story of a girl whose silence shattered empires, and it sold out in days. Talk shows invited her, documentaries followed. And as Zara's world expanded, Maya's continued to shrink. College acceptances revoked. Sponsors pulled, and the digital stain of her cruelty forever etched online. The last time Zara saw her was at a bookstore, Maya standing awkwardly near the graphic novel, section eyes flicking to a display where Zara's face smiled from a poster above the words "Speak Through the Storm." She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. Maya turned and walked away. And that's when Zara finally smiled. Not out of pride, not out of vengeance, but out of peace. Because the girl who had once been slapped in front of a crowd was now standing before the world, not as a victim, not as a fighter, but as a force. And all it took was one slap to awaken the legend. Would you like the SEO package title variations, hashtags, keywords, etc., to help this story go viral? On YouTube or TikTok?